Well, I've been out for 15 minutes or so. Car appears to be running fine. You can see that our fuel pressure is steady at 30. Not bad. We're gonna keep running and see what happens. So I drove about 40 minutes pushing the car pretty hard. Never lost fuel pressure, ever. Still stumbles and has absolutely no guts whatsoever.
You got no guts.
So I suspect there's something else going on. But my fuel pressure issue is solved. If I need to push my foot on the gas, I know it's gonna go.
Are you sure about that?
We're not gonna lose fuel pressure along with whatever the stumbling problem is. A lot of times if I pull my foot off and put it back on, sometimes that causes it to get up and go a little bit. It does not rev freely or anything like that. So there's still something up, not sure what it is, but we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. This definitely ends the whole fuel system trial and error though. That's definitely working and it definitely has full PSI. So that's good. One big problem solved. On to the next. The next piece of trying to get this thing to run properly is going to be to evaluate this throttle position sensor right here. Now it sounds like it's working properly. If I do this, you can actually physically hear the click. Don't know how well that'll show up on camera, but it does click.
Sure, Jan.
Which means it's engaging the throttle position sensor. And then it has another thing that engages as it goes all the way to the end. But we're gonna take this off and do some readings and see if it's actually working properly. All right, so we're gonna start here using these two bottom pins. And these should show that this is closed. So that's closed circuit right there, and that's closed circuit right there. When we open the circuit, which is gonna be fun to try to do here. And there we go. So that button is working. Now we can test the full throttle. This should be an open circuit. And then under full throttle, it should close. So let's see what happens. And that looks like that's functioning properly as well. So it appears that our throttle position sensor is working properly. Now you're probably asking yourself, Mike, didn't you just refurbish the airflow meter in the last video? And the answer to that is yes.
Freaking idiot.
But since that didn't seem to fix anything, we're going to go ahead and replace it with a brandy new one. It's pretty easy. Basically it unbolts from the actual mounting system with 3 little bolts. You have to replace over some hardware from the old one to the new one. Then you put those 3 bolts back in. It's really not difficult to replace this. Then I decided, well, what else isn't new on this car that's really stupid expensive that I can replace? And of course the answer is the ECU. So I ordered a replacement ECU just to put that in to see if it would fix some of the weird problems that I'm having. And it goes into the passenger side kick panel. It's really easy to take out. It's just a matter of taking the speaker out, and then it's 3 bolts and a big plug. You can probably replace this in about 10 minutes.
After what can only be called throwing the parts cannon at it, I took it out for a drive. And you know how you should never say I absolutely definitely solved the problem?
But my fuel pressure issue is solved.
Well, I jinxed myself because the fuel pressure issue returned.
I've never been so wrong in my whole life.
Basically, the car runs up to temperature and then it will lose power and basically not go anywhere. Of course, that meant the fuel pressure dropped at the same time. And if I turn the car off and restart it, it goes away, but it comes back pretty quickly.
I'll be back.
And it also doesn't hold fuel pressure after I turn the key off at all, which normally it should hold fuel pressure for a little while. Now this led me to believe that maybe my brand new fuel pump isn't actually working properly.
Another attempt to fix our fuel pressure issue, which we are still having. We have another brand new fuel filter, so we're going to replace that. We replaced the fuel pressure regulator, which didn't seem to have any effect. And we have a new fuel pump. You can see TRE Performance was kind enough to send me a replacement pump for the one that I already have. So the other one was new. This one is also new. It looks pretty much the same as the other pump did, but the packaging is slightly different. We have some different stuff in here, so that's kind of interesting. We didn't have this sleeve sock on the other one, which is really nice. Hopefully our fuel pressure issue was just a bad fuel pump, and I really do appreciate that they sent me this one because I think we pretty much replaced everything else. So what else could it be? So you know what? Let's get to putting this stuff in. Okay, it took me a while to get everything out of the tank, but we got that out, and all that stuff. So we're ready to go and put our new fuel pump on here.
Why won't this car just run already? I don't give up that easily, as you can see. Unfortunately, all the work and all the money that I spent here so far, it didn't work. It didn't fix our problem. I'm not kidding. I had the exact same problem after all this. Can you guess what the problem is? Let me know in the comments down below, because in the next video, we're gonna finally find out.
Sure, Jan.
No, seriously. We're actually gonna know in the next video why this thing will run up to temperature and then lose power. Why am I torturing myself with this old beat up 733 that's not worth anything? Well, it could only possibly be for the love of cars. And I know that if this idiot can figure out how to do this kind of stuff on any car, you can too. So go out there and find that old beater that you always wanted, make it run, and have some fun. And I'll see you in the next one.